Hey guys, it is me, then what's sort of welcome back to another video. For today, I will be reviewing Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert for you. So, Dune Messiah is the second book in the Dune series, and it was the first of 5 sequels that Frank Herbert wrote to Dune. So, as you can see, it's quite small. The audiobook that I did not use is about 8 hours long, and it's considered to be, I think, the shortest book in the entire Dune series. But anyway, so first off, I want to make a couple corrections for my Dune book haul video. First of all, as I said, the way the second movie with Timothée Chalamet ended in a way that Paul kind of seemed evil and that he was heading out to do some evil stuff. And that may be the movie, what the movie's trying to say, but the book did not end like that at all. The first Dune book just kind of ended with him just becoming emperor and stuff, but this one actually takes place 12 years later, and Paul isn't exactly evil, you could say, but he's not as good of a human as he was in the first Dune book. So I just wanted to make those couple corrections. I'm sorry for the other comments, I guess. But anyway, so as I said, Dune Messiah takes place 12 years after the first Dune book. And so Paul, he's married to Arulon, but he really wants Chani. And so Arulon wants children, but Paul's like, no, only Chani can give me children. Because in the first book, I completely forgot to mention this, by the way, but they had a son in the first book that died. That's really dark, but yeah, he died. And then also Paul had a little sister in the book, who I also forgot to mention. She's like 15 now, by the way. So, yeah, so Paul had a child who died, and then he had a little sister who's now very grown up. And so, yeah, stuff has just been fine for 12 years. Paul has been emperor, and now the Fremen are calling him the Messiah. So he's like, cool, I guess I'm like a godlike being. Very cool. So, basically, of course, the Harkonnens are kind of defeated, but this new, I guess, band of villains, I'm going to call them, called the Tleilaxu, at least that's how I think they're called, really want to get him out as emperor. So they make some plans and stuff and all that. Anyway, throughout the book, Paul just kind of goes through like a midlife crisis, you could say. He's like 30, but it doesn't matter, because the Fremen start really idealizing him. They're like putting him on like a godlike being, like he's on a high pedestal and stuff, and he's like, okay, I kind of like that, but I'm also kind of not. Anyway, the book proceeds. There's this, like, atomic weapon called a stone burner, I think it is. And it's like, I think that it's this mist, I think it was described, where, like, melts your eyes off. That's really horrifying, but that's what it does. And so Paul, like, he's just blind now. He's just like, yeah. But remember, he's prescient. He can see the future, so he's just like Daredevil, I guess. If you know Daredevil, then there you go. He's basically like Daredevil. But anyway, so Chani's trying to have children, but she's expecting twins this time, which Paul does not know. He only thinks they're having one child. Anyway, Chani gives birth, but she's been given this like poison type thing. And, well, she gives birth pretty well, but then she dies right after. And so this guy, Scytale, who's like working for the Tleilaxu and stuff, he's like, oh yeah, Duncan. Let me get to Duncan real quick. So I forgot to mention Duncan in the first video. I apologize for that, but he's like one of the guards for the Atreides. But there you go. And he died in the first book, and then he came back as like this Tleilaxu thing called like a Gola, but now he goes by Hayt, Hayt, Hayt. That's like his name. But at the end of the book, he like becomes Duncan again, like he gets all his memories back. And so Scytale, after Chani dies, Scytale's like, okay, Paul, so we can bring back Chani as a Gola, and then all her memories will be restored. Like, we can do that now. All her memories will be restored. And then Paul's like, no. So then he kills Scytale, and then he finally realizes that if he's going to be idealized like a god to the Fremen, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to be like this deity, as he thinks. So he walks into the desert alone as a man, and he dies. Yeah, so kind of a downer ending on this one. But anyway, so like Aaliyah and Duncan, they start having a thing, and then like Rulon is going to like teach Paul's children and stuff. So it's like it definitely sets up the third book, which I will read eventually, by the way, but not the next one. I'm going to do The Way to Blood first. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of Dune Messiah. It has a bit of a bittersweet ending, you could say. Paul dies and Chani dies, but his children live on. Anyway, so I don't really know much of a theme for this book. I know that the theme of the first one was kind of like religious, political, and like environmental messaging. The best one I can decipher for Dune Messiah is a false godhood, I guess you could say. Like, Paul kind of likes being a god and emperor, but he also doesn't really like being a god that much, so he decides to die alone in the desert while walking as a man. Just a regular old man. But yeah, so if you're looking for a message, I guess it's false deification, I guess. But yeah, anyway, I really enjoyed Dune Messiah. It's actually not considered to be very good, or at least it wasn't at the time, because back in the 60s, people didn't like when their favorite heroes turned bad. Oh, if only they could see the 2020s. But anyway, yeah, so people did not like Dune Messiah back in the day, but it looks like it's considered to be pretty good now. And I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that it's better than Dune 1, because, let's be honest, Dune 1 was pretty good. As confusing and weird and long as it was really good. But Dune Messiah was a pretty good follow-up. I liked all that stuff in there. It's a really short read. As I said, the audiobook's like 8 hours, but if you read it without an audiobook, you could get it done in like 4 hours maybe. So it's really small. It's a really short read, but it's really good. And so yeah, I'd say give it a read if you want to. But anyway, yeah, so I guess that'll be it for this video. Remember, I will be reading Children of Dune after I get to The Way to Blood, and then I'm thinking about going to Stephen King after Children of Dune, but if I want to continue Dune after Children of Dune, then I guess I'll do the other Dune books before I go back to Stephen King. But anyway, yeah, that was it for this video. Be sure to leave a like if you do choose to, and also subscribe to the channel if you choose to do that as well. But yeah, anyway, I've been Ben from the Emerald Sword, and I will see you guys next time.